Welcome to the weekend show with Mediumjay. Man, it's been a minute. I haven't been doing podcasts in a while, and let me explain. I got a very good excuse for you guys. It's because I went to fucking jail, man. Last year, sometime like around June, the end of June, I had just bullshit throughout the fucking year last year. Lost my job. I was kind of going through some mental illness kind of thing. Like, it was just a depression, right? I was just really super depressed, man. And, like, you could tell, like, throughout the podcast, I was kind of going, like, fucking, the podcast I did with me and George, Todd, and Taylor, I was just really drunk. I was just drinking kind of into depression. I was smoking a lot of weed, and then, I was laced. I picked up a brownie, some random brownie, and I'm pretty sure it had fentanyl in it. And I was fucking ridiculous. All I did was touch the brownie and I put it back down. But for like a week, I wasn't thinking clearly at all. Like, I was fucked up mentally. Like, it completely destroyed my mental acuity. And like, I don't know, man. Like, I was just in some weird zone where I didn't trust anybody. I was like, my own mom, my own stepdad. I was just like, these people are out to get me. My own family, friends and shit. I was like, yo, like, it was a very dark time. And like, I ended up like pulling knives out on people. I pulled a knife out on motherfuckers. I was robbing dudes. I was doing shit where I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I was just doing it because it's funny. And like, it was like I started watching The Impractical Jokers. This is the dumbest shit ever. I started watching The Impractical Jokers, and like, during the time before I went to jail, like, I was doing dumb shit, but like, for some reason in my mind, I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be funny to whoever's watching, like some sort of entity, or like, if there's like, I was imagining that like there's gonna be people watching what I did, and no one cares. Like, I'm in jail. I'm like, yo, this is like a story, but it didn't matter. Like, it took a couple weeks for like the drugs to clear out of my system, and like for me to sober up and realize, like, dude, what the fuck am I doing, man? Because I have that like, it's like drug-induced schizophrenia. So if I do a certain amount of drugs, and especially weed, like if I do a lot of weed, to a certain point, I start losing it. Once in a while you take an edible here at a party or whatever, okay, you're good. But when I have, like, say, I smoke bong rips, take a dab, take fucking edibles, take this, just constantly, like, I smoke weed every day like Snoop Dogg, motherfucker. If I chilled with Snoop Dogg long enough and we kept smoking weed, there'd be a point when I'd probably, like, try to either rob him, or like, I would like try to kill him, or I'd do some weird shit, like, and I think that's how gang members get into it, like it's like at a certain point, you like, there's some shit where you go, all right, we smoked this weed, we did these drugs, all right, let's go rob a fucking liquor store or something like that, let's go do, like, I'm like, let's go fucking, you know what, fuck it. And I never really did hard drugs or anything like that, but like, being in jail, man, and talking to some of these guys, like, the things that they did, like, on meth and like fucking fentanyl and like all these pills and all that type of shit, like Xannies and Gabbies and whatnot, they talk like, I'm like, man, how did I experience that same kind of like mental breakdown the way they did? And I'm like, I tell them I just smoked weed. They're like, nigga, all you did was smoke weed, nigga? Like I felt like a bitch, like, talking to these dudes. But jail, man, it's one of those things where it's like, I thought it was gonna be bad. Like, I thought it was gonna be hell on earth. Like, I went there and I'm like, all right, some motherfuckers are gonna try to fight me. Some motherfuckers are gonna try to fucking, fuck me. And the guards are gonna just straight beat me. But the guards were nice, you know what I mean? They show respect. You show respect, they give respect back. It's one of the, and in jail, it's one of those big things. Respect, it's earned, not given. Those motherfuckers, man. Cause like, there's some dudes that like would seriously, like, they're like face tatted up and shit like that. And they're like, yo, I remember this one guy, he was like smiling at me. He was like, man, what you in for, bro? And I'm like, man, I just fucking pulled a knife on my neighbor and did some dumb shit, like, you know, assault or whatever, fucking fighting with security guards, doing dumb shit, right? And he's like, oh, really? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, what are you in for, bro? He's like, or he asked me how much time you got. I got a couple months, man. I should be out soon. And then he's like, well, what'd you do? And then I told him, and then I asked him, I'm like, how long are you in here? He's like, oh, it's gonna be a while, bro. Years, bro, years. And I go, well, what'd you do? He's like, oh, murder, second degree murder. I'm like, God. He's like, yeah, you know, you just said second degree. And you don't even have to say murder after that. And I go, damn, bro. I was like, yo, was it worth it? He's like, 50-50. I go, Jesus, man. Yo, you kill a motherfucker. Yo, and imagine, and you just, like in that show, Jerry, fucking in Seinfeld, bro, when Jerry Seinfeld's, like, talking to that girl about the dentists. Yeah, dentists are, like, you know, she makes some corny joke, like, he makes a joke like, dentists, who needs them? She's like, yeah, right? And he's like laughing, and it's like, yeah, them and the Jews and the blacks. And he just goes, oh, God. I was like, when he said second degree, I was just like, ha, 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 and he's laughing too. He's like, ah. I was like, was it worth it? He's like, 50-50, and I'm like, oh, God. And I just started thinking about it, like, jeez, bro. He's like, and then you see those guys in there, man. There's fucking a whole bunch of characters, man. I was rooming, like, they moved me to this one block. Like, I was having fun with this old guy came in, this guy named Kevin, man. Kevin was fucking one of those old motherfuckers, teeth missing, meth head, you know, meth, this, that. He would do all kinds of drugs, but he was just lost. He said one time in jail, when he was in and out of jail too, stolen cars, he's got a gun, you know, sells drugs here and there, moves packages, whatever he does to get his next fix, man. Those drug addicts always on the hustle, man. And this old motherfucker, he was telling me, like, he's like, a while back when I was in jail, like a few times, not this jail, not the last time, but a few times back when he was in jail, he was on this old school military base that they had, and they had all the prisoners, like, keep up the trucks or whatever, but they obviously you don't leave the keys running, so you don't leave the keys in there. But one time, I guess one of the new guards or whatever accidentally left the keys in the truck, and he fucking ended up driving around the base of the prison, because it's all caged in, but he just drove it around, and they're like yelling and screaming at him, like, put it down. But all the prisoners were like, yo, this is that dude, man. He fucking took one of those army trucks fucking on a run, did a whole bunch of shit. He was one of those crazy guys, though, because at the end of the day, he was like, he needed his fix. He needed some drugs. He's like, I can't take it in here. And I go, what do you mean, man? Like, we're just sitting here, and he's like, nah, man, this shit's fucking garbage. And it is jail, man. And like, I'm one of those guys. I could do a lot with less. Like, I could just sit and just kind of think. I'll be writing some maybe poetry, writing some rhymes, Right, I wrote a bunch of shit down. I obviously, if it'd be nice to have it on, it'd be nice to, like, go through all of this shit, because I'm just kind of thinking about it. But I just hit record. I don't want it to sound too much like, I don't want it to get too much into what I was doing in jail or how I was doing, because it's depressing, man, at a certain point. But there's this time I got moved in the middle of the night to this one guy, and this one dude, man, fucking all fented up, bro. Like, he was like he said he was really addicted to down. This guy was like, and he was pissed off because we moved in the middle of the night, and he was like in jail for like years at a time. And he was telling me, he's like, man, they're not allowed to do that. They can't move you in the middle of the night without a 3-stripe. A 3-stripe guard is like a guard that's been there for like a 10-year guard or something like that. A guard that's been through the ranks. They did a 1-stripe, and he's like, I want to talk to a 3-stripe on duty, because you're not allowed to move people without that possibility. And I go, kill me if I'm in jail this long complaining about the semantics of jail. But again, he got really mad at me one time because I brought in my slippers to the jail, and that's one of those, like, you get smacked. He's like, yo, you get smacked up. But I'm like, yo, most of the guys didn't give a fuck. Yo, most of the guys are dirty. They're guys, right? And the guys that are, like, not planning on being there for years, don't give a fuck. But and I was one of them, right? But I'm like, man, my bad, yo. I don't know, man. It's first time, bro. It's like one of those first time, like you're a virgin in jail. They called me a fish, I think, like a fish out of water. But yeah, he was like, he's like, we're gonna have a problem if you keep doing that shit. And I'm like, my bad, man. I'll just take off the slippers, bro. I'm not trying to fight this dude. But yeah, he was telling me like he was so addicted to fentanyl, he took a hit on like Sterling Lion, and it's like one of those big intersections, like it's out by IKEA, and it's like a big like industrial park. All these fucking businesses are out there, like 6-7 lane highway type shit. Big intersection, right? Constant flow of traffic. He's like, it was like nighttime or whatever, and he took a hit of fucking fentanyl, and he fucking passed out on the side and got hit, he like dropped and got hit by a oncoming car in the middle of the street, right? He took a hit in the middle of the street, fell down, got hit by a car, fucking went over the thing, and he fucking like that woke him up, and he just started running, and the guy was like trying to flag him down, like, yo man, you're okay. I just fucking hit a dude, and he just started running. Like, imagine the sober dude in the car just driving. He hit a dude. He got hit. Then he ended up fucking. He was so fucked up. He like fucking passed out somewhere. The guy finally called the ambulance, got him into the hospital. He was in the hospital, fucking broken, like whatever, a bunch of shit, ribs, fucked, a fractured head, everything all fucked up. He was so fucking addicted to fentanyl. He told me. He's like, when I was in the hospital getting treatment, you're allowed to go down, like in a wheelchair, you're allowed to go down to the cafeteria hospital and get some food or whatever. They give you like vouchers. So he went down, he had some money, or I guess they give you money. I don't know. He had some sort of money, but he rolled down to the thing, out the hospital, went to fucking Langside or Furby or some place in the hood where I am right now. Some place in the hood, I'm living at my mom's, side note. I'll get into that too, but fucking, you're in the fucking hood. He rolled down from the hospital, like fucking 20 minutes, rolling in his wheelchair, picked up some fentanyl and rolled back and, hit it so that he could be high during his fucking hospital stay. And I just was like, yeah, he's like, man, I'm so addicted. But dude, a lot of those guys reading the Bible, like the guys that are in there for years at a time, they're reading the Bible. I read the Bible too, half of it, and I realized, man, I'm like, fuck, it's so boring. The Bible, the beginning, and the guys all tell you got to stick with the revelations in the Bible. You got to start with the revelations. And I go, the revelations is like the best part. It's at the end. It's like saying like, fucking, you can't treat the Bible like a Netflix series. Like, all right, man, The Office sucks up until like season 3. Get to season 3, start watching that shit, and stop at season 8 because that's when Michael leaves or whatever. You can't just you can't do that with the Bible. So I was in jail. I was reading the Bible. I read like 5, 6, maybe 7 books. But the Bible is fucking boring. There's a whole chapter dedicated to numbers, and the numbers in the Bible, it's like, and 36,500 hetero came with fucking, came with candles, and then it's 42,600 Mennonites came with lampshades, and they just count numbers of the guys coming through over the Israel border or some whole bunch of stuff, but it's like, the Bible is, it's interesting too, man. Like it's when you read it, it is very interesting. And I'm probably going to get back into reading it. But I read like Girl on a Train. I read The Job by, I can't remember, it's Joan McKennedy or John McKennedy. One of those books. A whole bunch of books that I was reading. Heads You Win or Tails, Heads You Win. By I can't remember, but it was Jeffrey Archer, I think it was. Yeah, Jeffrey Archer, Heads You Win. I think that was an interesting book because like the whole time I'm like, what is this leading up to? There's 2 sides of a story. Like it's like a guy flipped a coin in Russia, Soviet Russia, when his family was leaving, and they flipped a coin to get onto the boat to America or the boat to like London or the UK or whatever. And the book breaks down its certain points and elements, and the character becomes the same kind of thing up into a certain point. Like he's like slowly going through his life, and even though he's on opposite ends of the world, it's really interesting, man. Like, and I probably never would have read that book if it wasn't for jail. So there are some good aspects of jail, man. You know, you meet some people, and the more you go through the rings of it, there's this one dude, Muhammad, this fucking African motherfucker, Muhammad. He would yell, Muhammad Milna. And he would like joke around with all the guys, and he would be like, "Yo, if he was mad at you, he'd be like, blah, blah, blah. He'd be pretending to shoot you, like, I'll fuck you up." Blah, blah, blah. And I asked him, I'm like, "What are you in for, bro? You're like a funny guy. You seem, you know, you're an immigrant, motherfucker." He's like, my brother. He works hard. He's got his own whatever. He's like he went to college and all that shit. I'm the fuck up. He said, I like to steal, man. My friend, I like to steal. I go to the pot shop, I steal. I take a bunch of weed, I take ounces, and I run away, and then they call the police on me. And I go, "But what do you do as a job?" He's like, I don't work at all, man. I live with my mother. My mother, she pay everything. I go and I'm like, "What do you do for money though, bro? Like you get a phone or this or that?" He's like, "None of that shit. None of that. Very simple. The same way, like Allah, he's like, very God. Very simple. I go out, I beg. These white people, they're so nice. They're so generous. I go beg on the corner. I get a couple $100. That's good for the day." I go, Jesus Christ, man. Like, you're making more, just begging. And I just go like, there's got to be a better way than just begging. Like and the guy was happy doing that. That's the thing. He's like, I like meth, Like, he shouldn't do that. He's like, the weed also fucks with my mind, too. He definitely was one of those motherfuckers that, he hits the gas, and he has that same shit as me, but he was a funny guy. He'd pick up the phone, Muhammad, Milna, because we'd be at Milner Ridge, and he'd be yelling it, and he'd yell it throughout the whole cell block could hear them, and we'd always laugh, because he's just trying to make a phone call. He's like, "Just gonna make a phone call, Muhammad Milna." Those little things in jail, man. There was this one when I was in, it was kind of like the medium security in Milner Ridge, and it was after lights out. There was this one guy that was like the Joker of the bunch. Side note, he ended up fucking fighting with a dude over the TV remote. This is the funniest thing is you could get swung on for the TV, right? The TV is a big thing in jail, man. Like if some dude's watching something and some guy comes up and changes it, and he's like, he said, we watched that yesterday. He's like, I don't give a fuck, bro. I wasn't up. Yes, I was 6 in bed sleeping yesterday. I want to watch this shit. He's like, well, too bad, man. We're switching the channel. The motherfuckers start fighting, right? That's like the type of shit that you get into fights over, right? A lot of it is poker too. They were playing poker, and if you owe too much shit, right? Like, I got 4 chocolate bars, this candy, this chips to that guy. Motherfuckers just start talking and go, "Yo, you want to fuck him up?" And the guy goes, "I'll fuck him up." Nah. Fuck him up. And then everybody kind of talks and they go, "Who do you guys want back in the cell block?" And then that's how it's like that. It's like that's how cliques kind of form. That's how like little tribal shit happens. But everyone liked this one guy, and he fought this dude. But he was such a funny guy, nice guy. I can't even remember his name, man. And I probably won't bring up names except Muhammad. Like dudes that like, it won't get in trouble for. But there's that one guy that we all liked. He would fuck around with the guards at lights out when the guards would come in with the flashlight and check to make sure the prisoners are still there. They always have to do the checks, right? Virtually impossible to escape from prison at this point. They lock these big metal doors. They come around, and just to make sure, because you could be hiding or I don't know, you could somehow escape, but they got to do a count. And they do the count like every hour on the hour. So this guy, after lights out, and then they'd come and count. The guy would hide underneath the cell, under the window, and when he goes to check, he'd come up and scare him like, "Boo! Ah!" And the guards would jump, and he's like, I got you, bro. And I remember, like, I was, like, laughing so hard, because, like, I would hear the guards get startled. And I was like, yo, that is the funniest shit. Like, it's like, yo, you're in jail, right? You can't really do fuck all. But it's so funny to fuck with the guards on that, like, little level of just keeping your sanity, man. It was funny, man. That guy was a funny guy. He was a nice guy, man. And I remember, but he was, like, a simple guy. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, oh, fuck. Just, like doing drugs, like, fucking around, doing, fucking dumb shit. And, I remember we get the newspapers, and there was these flyers, and he was just going through the flyers. He's like, my favorite thing to do is buy food, man. And I just remember going like, that's such a simple, like, my favorite thing to do is just buy food, man. That's what I miss. Like, I've been in jail for fucking too long that I just miss buying food. He's like, fuck, I'll just buy a bunch of food, man, and get, love to cook, and you can't do that in jail, man. They get those meals prepared for you, man. I remember I missed that, bro. And then once I slowly got into the minimal security, I got into the, like, low security. It was basically in Milner. There's basically like and it's funny. I seen my brother too. My brother, he's called me from jail saying, like, and I was like, man, I might end up there too, bro. Like, the way things are going, had this Jewish lawyer. Fucked around. I fired my Jewish lawyer because I was just so paranoid, man. And here's what's fucked up. My Jewish lawyer would have got me off. I gave him $1,500 for the retainer. He set up everything. Got me under he got me under anger management class. I called the guy up to do anger management. The guy goes, I'm taking a vacation for a month. Call me back in May. This was last year. May comes around. I'm like, fuck, I didn't get any calls from him. I call him, leave a message, nothing for the whole few months. And I get arrested in June because I'm starting to trip now. I lose my job sometime in April. May comes around. I'm not working for this long because I'm like, I want to deal with the case before I just jump into a job and deny all this shit. But at the same time, I call my lawyer, figured, I'm like, dude, I don't feel like this is legitimate. Like, are we... And the guy's like, he kind of alluded to, like, well, this is like what you wanted, right? We got you off. Don't have to worry about it. And I go, but I didn't go to anger, man. I didn't do anything. And he's like, Jewish lawyer. Sent one text over the weekend, and shit was good. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Ethically, I was in a conundrum. I didn't feel right. And I go, I don't know, man. So I fired him. And he's like, oh, he was so pissed off because I don't know what kind of strings he pulled behind the scenes as a lawyer, but maybe he did something, I don't know. And again, this is how dumb I was, because I was like, man, I don't trust anybody. I don't trust the lawyer that literally on assault with a weapon and assault, because I threw coffee on a guy at a security guard, and I kept fighting with this guy. This guy would fuck with me, though, from literally like 10 years at least. I remember going there. He didn't ID my buddies. And then he IDs me, and I'm like, I gotta go to the car, bro. Like, fucking, but you see us, we come to this place all the time, bro. It was one of those little things, man. Like, but he just didn't like me for whatever reason, because I fucking was drunk one time, and I was just telling him that. And my cousin would fuck with him too, right? We'd fuck with those guys, because he goes, he's a fucking... This big African guy missing his teeth. He looks like he did drugs or something like that, and just a motherfucker that, like, a big dummy. So we would joke around with him like that. Oh, big dummy, man. But he really he fucked with me to a certain point that then I got banned from, Canada Life Center, and I just kept going back. I just kept showing up, and then my lawyer finally got me off, but then I fired him. So I guess it got reverted back. And at that point, I was like, man, if nothing matters, right? I was like, man, my Jewish lawyer gets me off. Even though I fired him, I'm like, I thought for some reason I was untouchable. I just started pulling knives out on people, kept getting arrested, pulled a knife out on my neighbor. When the cops came, kicked down the door. This is what's fucked up. They broke down the door because I was like, I'm going to kill myself, I was just doing anything to just get them away, And when you tell the cops you're going to kill yourself, that's even worse than saying, you know, you got a gun, don't come in. Because they have to bring the ambulance as witnesses and shit like that, and it's the third part. It gets bad, man. It's like one of those weird things, man. But like, I don't know, like they stole my. I just had to get a brand new iPhone. They stole my iPhone. They stole. I don't know if it's the police or my landlord. My landlord said my mom took all this stuff, but I'm missing a whole bunch of clothes, all my furniture in my apartment. Because I was in jail for 3 months. I got evicted. The way it was fucking bad, man. And then I ended up like, when getting out of jail, it's so fucking shitty. And I know I'm bouncing all over the place, but it's free flowing thought, man. This is what a podcast is. This is what it is, man. I got so much shit that I got to talk about, and I'll probably go through each individual little characters of jail, man, because it's like there's so many things, but getting out of jail, which is, it's the shittiest thing about this is what no one tells you about. Jail is okay, it doesn't matter, because there's this homeless dude in jail, and jail, he's like, yo, jail's nice, man. You get food, you know, 3 squares, it was bed to sleep, and you don't have to worry about anything financially. You just have to worry about not getting your ass kicked. And if you're one of those dudes that are that bad, no one, you know, you don't have any money, no one fucking expects anything from you. People go, they feel, you're the homeless guy in jail, they feel sorry for you. They'll, you know what, man, bro, come over here, man. I'm making popcorn, take some popcorn. Got a couple chocolate bars, here's a chocolate bar, bro. You know, let's split this fucking Mountain Dew. This Mountain Dew is big in fucking, you know, Pepsi and shit like that, and it was big in jail, man. Having a Pepsi was, you know, you have a Pepsi in jail, you're like a king, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers like, oh, damn, you got fucking 4 bottles of... I seen this black dude flexing. He had 4 bottles of Pepsi, a bunch of chocolate bars, and some bags of chips, and he was just like, he set it up on his bed, and people were like, damn, man, let me, you know, people were treating him like a pretty girl, right, in the club. It's fucking funny, man. But yeah, like, coming out of jail, man, it's, you know, nothing. I don't think anything can, you know, you can, like, if you don't have anybody to pick you up, first of all, they just drop you off at the police station. In front, the courthouse is there, police station is over here, the jail's right there. You just get dropped off, and you just get dropped off there. And it's like, good luck. All right, good luck. Here's your shit that you had when you came in. And if you didn't have a phone, if you didn't have anything, I didn't have anything, man. All my stuff was left because the cops kicked in the door. You know what I mean? Had guns pointed at me and shit like that, because I told them I'm like, they didn't know what to expect. I was a danger. And I get it, man. The way I was acting, I was not, mentally, it wasn't, the shit that I was saying wasn't making sense, man. Pulled a knife on my neighbor, and I slid the blade underneath his door, like, as some, and that was, I get coming from it, that was a scary ass threat. But when they drop you off, it's nothing, man. So I was like trying to, like, I called my mom to come, like, pick me up, right? Like, I had nowhere to go. And it took a while to fucking find my mom, man, because, like, she was circling the block, I guess, trying to look for me, and she didn't know exactly where I'd be dropped off. The fucking, the guards, correction guards, they just pulled up, all right, get out, see you later, good luck with everything, and they just sped off. And I remember going like, bro, like, if my mom wasn't there to pick me up while I fell, I would be homeless right now. I would be on the street, man. And in jail, there's so many guys that were like, if you want to make some money, man, you want to make some money, let's go drive. You got your license, you're a truck driver, let's get it, you know, rent a truck, U-Haul, get a couple things, drive, you know, get a couple guns from Montreal, we drive them back here, and we flip them in Winnipeg. And I'm like, okay, how much does, well, each drive out to Montreal, 14-hour drive, couple days, you could probably make like 5-10 grand. I'm like, bro, in 2-3 days you can make 5 to 10 grand, bro. So it all depends on how quick we can flip these out, you know, and obviously how fast we get there. And I'm like, yo, that was one of those things where I'm like sitting there going like, yeah, if shit, it really goes bad for me, that's the option. And it's like, but I can't start doing gun smuggling or I can't be flipping drugs, or, because it's like there's so many native guys in jail too in Canada, man. It's bad, man. It's bad, but it's the res. They say the res. It's the communities that you're a part of, and it's really fucking bad to the point where the dudes are like, man, it sucks and everything, but you get an ounce of crack or an ounce of meth or some fentanyl, and you could go up north, and the further you go up north, it starts like tripling, quadrupling. You know what I mean? You could almost 5x your amount of profit that you would make. These dudes are going like, for $3,000 you could turn it into 15 grand. You know what I mean? Off of drugs. And you start thinking and doing the math, and you go like, these motherfuckers are sitting in jail, and some of the guys are like, I got like 30-40 grand, I got 60 grand. I knew this one black guy, he was like, I fucking was stealing cars, and I knew how to I take it to a chop shop, and my quote unquote my dad, but the guy that's like the dude that owns the shop would change the VIN numbers, and he knew how to hack into dealerships. He knew how to hack into shit, dealership securities, cut the fucking security cams, cut the fucking alarm system, take the nicest Audis, fucking Lexuses, you know what I mean, fucking Porsches, whatever. Take these nice cars, drive them to the chop shop. They change the VIN number, read whatever, to like a brand new car or whatever, but it's legal, and he'd like flip them, and I'm like, fuck. He's sitting on like 20-40 grand. Just coming into jail. He's like, yeah, I got a bunch of money and all that shit. Dude's had a bunch of money, and it's like, but they're in jail. And I remember going like, that money kind of is worthless, because like, these guys are in and out, and once they're in the system like that for crimes like that, man, like, you can't go back. And it's really hard to get a job outside of jail too. Like, what they don't really speak about this is like the criminal record aspect of it. Man, I was in a rough spot for the first maybe week and a half. I was applying for everything. I applied to this shitty job, and I was like, at least I'm working. But I remember, man, I'm like, fuck, I'm working, but this job was legitimately like a third-party job, third-party contractor. There's this fucking thing on Family Guy where Stewie's like a mob boss, because it was like a James Bond villain or whatever. They were doing a James Bond series episode on Family Guy, and Stewie was like, he's like, you and your Peter goes, you and your henchmen, and he's like, whoa, don't call them my henchmen. These are third-party contractors. We get them to log in on an app, so that way, I don't have to pay them as much, and I don't, there's not all these. I don't give them benefits and all these fucking workers violations. They basically get less rights. You know what I mean? And he told the guys, remember now, sign into your app and log out, because you guys are done for the day. I don't want to keep paying you, to sit around. You guys are done. You can go home, take your lunch if you need. It was fucking funny. But that's how I was working at this job where I'd sign in on an app, and the guy was like, you're a third party contractor. We can keep the taxes off, and at the end of the year you just pay your taxes. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, just take the taxes off, because fuck, I'm not going to be doing the math. He's like, well, you can write off all the food that you, and it's like working like delivering beer to vendors, beer to liquor stores and shit like that, delivering. And it was such like a job where it was depressing, man, because it was like I was in a small little truck. I could drive semis. I got my class 1 license. So I was like, I can do this, but I'm driving at this. I'm driving at a small little fucking truck, in and out, not even a 5 ton. It was like a half ton. Pickups. Just pickups, picking up beer, empty beer cans, which was really shitty. And it just stunk. I just, smell. I remember that smell of fucking beer. And I was depressed, man, for the few months. And I wasn't making nearly as much money as I am now. Now I finally did get a job with Guardwine, actually. It was a pretty good company. Working my ass off. Today I worked so hard yesterday. I was like 16 hours. But I did the math, and I'm like, fuck that 16 hours. I probably made more in one day than I made in a whole week working that other job, which is fucking pretty sad. I almost made 2 weeks salary working one day because I'm working my ass off, and I was gonna work today too, but it's perfect because I was gonna work today, but they said you don't just call in if you want to work, because I was like getting off at like 11:30. I got home at like 12 a.m. which is crazy, but fucking started at 5 a.m. too. Started at 5 a.m. So punch that in, but it was problems with the trucks, so a whole bunch of shit went up north of Grand Rapids, delivered all their shit and got it all done. But it's just one of those fucking jobs where it's tough, and if you don't kind of say, hey man, you end up working like a machine. And it's nice too. If I on days when I want to work like a machine, fuck, the money's there, man. And I don't do much anyways. I play video games, make podcasts, make music, but you always need money, man. And it sucked because I was like, on my old job where I was working, just beer runs and shit like that, I was like, fuck, man. And there's no benefits, there's nothing, there's no pension at the end. I remember going like, bro, like, and the sketchiest part is that my boss would just e-transfer me. So I'm like, yo, is this all by the books? Am I really getting, like, they would send me the little pay stub on a text, but the guy would go, yeah, it's just an e-transfer, so just make sure you accept your e-transfer into your own fucking thing. I'm like, fuck, man, I need a legitimate job, right? I don't want it that. But I thought that was all I could do, right? Like at a certain, once you're there for a few months, you start getting into that mental state. And I just kept applying, and so many people were like, I was like, man, how many times? My last few jobs didn't really ask for a criminal record that I remember, but I guess it's that as soon as it happens, and I got it, and I got a criminal record check like a month and a half ago, but it still hasn't even come yet. They said it might take 4 to 8 weeks, and I go, that's such a big thing. Hopefully it doesn't show up and I can just say I don't have it. Hopefully I don't just have a criminal record, because I think the funniest thing, I used to have a Jewish lawyer. Now I got one of those Caribbean, like a fat black Caribbean lawyers, because I was like worried about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion in my lawyer. I was like, yo, there's so many Jews, right? There's enough Jews lawyers that are legitimately fantastic at what they do, and they can get murderers off of just some shitty ass thing, right? Even like my buddy was a fucking serious criminal, man, but he had this fucking wealthy East Indian lawyer, and he's like, yo, this motherfucker knows shit. Barry Cinders or whatever. This motherfucker knows shit. But I was like, I need to represent for the people. Get a fucking Barbados motherfucking, Caribbean fat, like, I would call my lawyer and she'd go, what do you want? Like, that's what it felt like every time I called my lawyer. She goes, and so what do you want to do? You know what I mean? I could just hear her swaying her head like, yeah, like, but it's the big fucking titties on her, the big titties on my lawyer. And she just called, like, I remember going, like, she didn't even tell me what was gonna happen up until. And this is what you get when you don't pay for a lawyer. I just had one of those fucking just whatever, bottom of the barrel. And it's crazy. Because, yeah, it's crazy that things went good enough. But I should have definitely, when the judge was saying all the stuff, and all he was going through, it's 4 counts. It was assault once, assault with a weapon, another one. Then I pulled a knife on some guy. I don't even think those counted. Pulled a knife on another guy. It's just threatening. Threatening is not really on the record, I don't think. But the assault with a weapon. Because, like, all in all, 3 weeks. I was in that motherfucker for 3 months. The court system's so fucked up, and it's so backed up that they fucking revert so much shit to, like, they, like, it's like there's so much cases and so much shit that it's like they can't see you for at least 3 months, and they only see you if it's gonna go for like 20 minutes. Because like if I went to actual trial, which I probably could have beat the case, but I'd be sitting there for another 3 months, 6 months of sitting in jail waiting to get exonerated for all that shit. And I think, honestly, even though I pled out, I don't think I have a criminal record, because at this point they couldn't find anything, man. I was trying to fucking look it up and all that shit, and none of it, like, they haven't emailed me anything yet. So I'm just hoping that it's not on there, because my probation officer was like, I got probation for 3 months or 3 years, or no, a year and a half, I think, something like that. It was like 18 months, which sucks. But they're like, you're definitely probably not gonna reoffend. Like they're in that state, and I don't ever think I'm gonna do none of that shit again. It honestly is one of those. If I just catch myself smoking weed all day, and I haven't really smoked weed, haven't really drank like that. I'm not. Yeah, I know it's when I slip up. It's like and on the podcast too. I'm sure I could look back at it, and I'm sure the people that, the few people that have been watching me can go, "Ooh, Jeff, I mean, he's crazy," and it's almost like I can't tell if it's a bit or not. And at that point, even me, when I'm doing those things, I'm like getting drunk, getting high, fucking around, going like, I'll fuck around and do some shit, and I'll pretending to be blind. Was the last podcast. I legitimately did go out with my bicycle, pretending to be blind, going like, I just can't see right now, guys, can you help me out? Random, I don't know I was blindfolded. I blindfolded myself, and I was trying to drive my bike around, and I was crashing into shit. Doing, like, that was something where I thought was gonna be funny. And that was one of those things where I'm like, whoever's seen that, it was like a bit for nobody. I didn't film it. I didn't do anything. I honestly just rode my bicycle blindfolded, like on some jackass shit, and didn't get no friends, nobody to film it. It was like at fucking 3 a.m. in the morning. That's how weird. That's what I was up to when I got fired from my job, and I tell the people on the podcast, hey guys, I'm retired. Once I start saying I'm retired as a 30-year-old man, I'm retired. I ain't working no more. You know what I mean? I'm just sitting at home, doing fuck all, drinking with George and Todd. I had to cut those guys out of my life, man. I had to. You do some serious thinking in jail, man, and it's all coming together, man. And we just released, me and Taylor. We filmed some shit. Taylor's actually my buddy. Taylor Weeb, MMA Journal Canada podcast. He's actually gotten really good at filming and editing videos. He's got this weird autistic sense of like how to do shit. We just filmed Stay With The Stick. We're gonna film more and more music videos. He got me hooked up with this DJ Despair. We're doing shit, and it's beautiful because I'm one of those artists. I'm a loner. I prefer to do this. I prefer to be alone. If I have guests on the podcast, it's fun to hang out, but my social battery runs out really fucking quick. And it's and even like trying to get guys to do music, with people is like, I would much rather the digital version instead of analog, which is like Drink Champs. He always asks this question, but I would much rather just sit in the studio with one-on-one with one guy. And even then, if I could just go to the studio and do all of it myself, but you need a guy, an engineer in the background while you're in the you need that, and it's a level of, and most engineers are very like respectful of, because artists, it's you're bringing in your hard work, and if you just kind of shit all over it and go like, that sucks, do another take, they go, ooh, you could probably, the levels weren't correct that one time, we could do it again, right? But I've gotten used to the way I work with this engineer Len, and just making music with him. But it's like tough to make music with everybody, because everybody wants you to go to their studio or their homemade thing and save some money. And it's like, at the end of the day, man, I would rather pay the money to go to these studios. that like legitimately sound professional. Cause like nowadays, man, fuck, it's easy to fucking put your music up there, but fucking, and everybody has music. So what? So like even people that don't really, Elon Musk's made music. Elon Musk has a track out. You know, so everybody makes fucking hip hop. Everybody makes fucking. It's the lowest form of music that you can make. You just need a microphone. Technically, I made so many songs on the microphone that I'm doing the podcast on right now that like sound good, edited good, but it's nowhere near the level of an actual fucking studio and an actual guy mixing and mastering with those boards and putting the levels up on 1,000 different little fucking buttons that you can, and knobs to manipulate. I don't even know. When I watch a guy, I always get like kind of enamored with it. It's magical watching the studio engineer do this. And again, okay, well, you know what? The podcast. Oh yeah, okay. Well, yeah. I just blanked out for a second, but with the music, we're gonna do more videos. We're gonna do more shit. Hopefully, I'll try to fix this background too. We're gonna get more podcasts going, more music videos. I'm gonna get more music going. A couple more features. It's all coming together. Like things are now at that point. And yeah, Taylor got me on with DJ Despair. Gonna do shows in the city. So if you're in my city or if you're popping by, I'm gonna be starting to open up for some of these main featured acts, and just they got me on. I'm right now what I am is at the low, because I've been so far with my head down doing music and just fucking every year at least trying to come up with something, come up with an album or an EP or some sort of thing just to keep my reflexes going. It's like gym. I've been going to the gym, but nowhere near as much as I think about music or try to think about lines and rhymes and certain schemes. And it's like I treat all music as music theory. So like I'll be listening to new music and I'll go, ooh, I'll listen to even the greats and I'll go, ooh, I wish he did it like this, or ooh, or not so much critical as far as that goes, but like, or I'll go, I like the way he did that, or I like the way he did that, or that line right there in that song is my favorite, and this is a very popular song, but I'm like, yo, this is why it's popular, or you try to break down little things like that, and like, I guess that's how my mind works. It's like an analytical side of music, which again, most people just listen to music because they like the way it sounds, right? And you can kind of go like, and especially with that Drake and Kendrick beef, the Drake and Kendrick beef, man, I loved it, man, because you got the best of Drake, and Drake with that one song I think it was Push Ups, and that other one where he started off with the spitting his little chain. It was Drake. But Kendrick, man. Kendrick made a song where you could literally dance to, and it's calling Drake a pedophile, right? Like, I mean, I missed out on so much shit being in jail and kind of being broke. And now that I'm trying to get back into that level of, I guess upper middle class society, I don't know. I don't even know. Wouldn't even consider that. I'm living at home with my mom, so I'm stacking up money, give money to my mom, and not rent. Here's the thing about rent, man. Rent nowadays, $1,000 to just a month of just losing out. End of the year, 12 grand sitting in your hand. You can do so much more shit with it. Like I could do more studio time. I could do more whatever. I could put more production into this shit. I can buy a fucking iPhone legitimately. You know what I mean? I don't have to, for the people that really know how I got those two iPhones, it was a shipping error. I ordered a fucking Samsung and they gave me two iPhones. So I had two iPhones that were fucking blacklisted. So I just used them on the Wi-Fi. But this iPhone I could just use to use, right? Yeah, and like, it's funny, man. Like one of those things where it's like having money and not just paying every day. I'd much rather pay my mom, but it's like I am still living at home. Don't get it twisted. Is that the balancing act of I'm sleeping on my mom's couch in her fucking 1 bedroom apartment, man. It's sad, to be honest. It sucks. Like, I feel like I'm a 30-year-old guy living at home with my mom. It doesn't, like, it's low as it can be. But I think back to like Asians and East Indians, and I go, oh yeah, like, this is fucking the best way to say it. It's the best way to just go fuck you to the system. And most people never even moved out. I at least took that chance, moved out of my mom's place. And I could, this, and what I could do is I'll shift the narrative. I'm looking after my elderly mom. You know what I mean? I'm making sure she's okay. I'm getting the most amount of time I can before she's gone, right? That's how it is. That's how I could look at it. That's how it should be. But in reality, it'd be nice to stack up money to the point where I could just, once I'm ready to leave my mom's place, I'll just mortgage a place. I'll just mortgage an apartment, and then I'll own that apartment, which probably never would have been able. Like, I remember the amount of fucking money I saved up in a year with my other job and renting. I remember I was saving money and but I remember it being so cheap with like everything I was doing. Like, I was so like cheap with what I remember I would look on like apps for deals and stuff like that because I was saving money, and I was making good money. I was working my ass off though. And this time I'm just gonna take it a little easy, man, because with trucking, man, you can get into this slump where you're just at work more than you're at home. And like, I don't ever want to be like that. Give me my minimum requirements to stay employed. I'll save up my money that way. Make sure my mom's eating, get groceries, fill the fridge, fill her purse. Make sure I'm dressing nice, and then have more time to do more videos, music videos coming. The shit that sucks with technology nowadays, man. I got my phone. I had my phone linked, my old phone, and when I was going crazy, here's the thing too. I had a fucking brand new Samsung S21. Just threw it off a bridge. I threw it off a bridge. I was like, I didn't pay my bill, and I'm like, oh, the phone's broken. I didn't pay my fucking bill. This is how fucking I was out of my mind. I tell you guys, I was out of my fucking I was off my fucking rocker, off my, out of my marbles or whatever. I took a brand new, fucking 2-3 months old Samsung S21 that I bought. Throw it out the fucking $500 phone. Just threw it out. Threw it out the fucking off a bridge. And I was like, yo, it's not working, huh? What? I can't access my data, can't make calls, didn't pay my bill, fucking threw it out the way. I owed like $1,000 to my phone bill. Like, I don't know why they let it build up that much, but I'd always I told them let it build up and then I'll just pay it off or whatever. Crazy, man. And when you're in jail, the shittiest thing is all your bills just keep going, right? Unless you have someone to tell people. But even now and then, we can't get if you're not like registered under like, his emergency contact, which who fucking tells a phone number, a phone company, you're registered, your emergency contact. Who fucking puts that? You just go ahead, just give me a phone. What's the number? You get in there and get out of there, right? Your internet cable, what I mean? Do you have anybody that can make changes? And you have to have them also be there. So it's like you can't just set everything up to your mom or your loved ones that no one plans to go to jail either. So it's like, what are those things, man? And the shittiest thing is my old phone number. I think I have it. I just paid it off like a few months back. I should still have that number linked to me. That I'm still getting texts from TELUS, emails from TELUS because I got a new phone number. But I'm like, I want to somehow re-up my phone number so that I can get all of my old accounts back. And I'm probably going to do that right after this podcast. I'm going to go down there. So much shit. You got to do so much shit to get back to your normal life. Because my YouTube account, Cash Leaders, is linked to my fucking phone number. So it's like, oh my God. And there's no way, literally Google guys told me like, yo, I asked Google help. I go, guys, what's the point in having a recovery email or anything else linked to it? Why do I even answer those, like, who's your, those personal questions, if it just reverts back to, if you don't have your phone number, you can't do shit. If you somehow stole someone's phone number, you basically own, you stole their phone. Some guy picked up my phone and didn't reset the phone thing, but I think most criminals go, I just want the phone. I'm just gonna reset the phone guy, because I never put accounts on my thing for that reason. I want when somebody is on there, they just immediately, they can go through my shit. I don't really fucking post nudes, or I don't do anything really too incriminating, except that all my things are backed up by my phone number, so I have to get a text. So if they have it and they want to be me and they steal my shit, the thing that sucks is it's all reverted back to that phone number, and then it just comes with like that shitty fucking catch-22 with that two-factor authentication, because it's like, holy shit, man, I put all of my information, I could do everything up until the point where I have my old phone number, and they're like, just try to get, if you can, just the best thing to do is go to the company, get your old phone number back, use it for a month, get into your account, then switch it to your new phone number, and then, or just take off the phone thing. And I'm like, I might as well just take off the phone thing and use the password. But nowadays, it's like, I don't even know if that even works, right? It's annoying, man. And here's the shitty thing about service nowadays. And I have a little bit about this with my job as well, right? Like, delivery services suck nowadays, right? Like FedEx and all of that shit. FedEx, Purelator, fucking the post office, the Canada Post. All of when they went shut down, it just got worse. It got really bad. Canada Post gotten so bad that I literally was supposed to get I bought an iPhone like last week, and on Wednesday I made the payment, got it. It came on Friday that next day, but in the tracking thing, I guess no one scanned it or something. It said your package will arrive next week in 9 days or something like that. So I'm like, okay, great. I'll get my package in 9 days. But it arrived and it sat at the FedEx warehouse for literally like 5 extra days. So I could have picked it up at any given point. There was no mail. I had to go onto the tracking thing, read that it came literally on the 17th, recording this podcast on the 24th, right? We'll probably upload it either today or tomorrow, depending on how I can't even get into my YouTube accounts, right? I gotta fucking get my old phone number back to get into my old YouTube accounts. I mean, I got my YouTube account on this, but with the fucking new phone, it still is reverting back to the iPhone that fucking, I'm pretty sure my landlord stole. Whole lot of shit. I got a whole lot of shit I gotta deal with. But at the same time, I'm dealing with it, and I'm fucking doing it. And with the job that I'm at now, the thing is, all the shit packages up north, right? Like FedEx, Purelator, all of those things. There's all of them. There's a whole bin of a bunch of people, like a dozen packages that like I'm supposed to do with my regular deliveries. And they're like, if you see the person, if you can, I'm in a fucking 52-foot trailer. I'm not going individually to these guys' houses to deliver to them. If I can call them, I can call them. If they come up and see the truck and go, hey, do you got a package for me? I've been waiting for fucking months. I go, yeah, actually, what's your name? Here's the package, write up the paperwork, go. Send it, right? But I can't fucking just call guys on a residential street on a random fucking Wednesday where they're probably busy at work and going like, it's up in the reservations too. It's up north. Like, it's really fucking like, you either they are there or they're not there, right? If I call them and okay, great, you can come by and pick it up. I can't. Can you come to this well, that's kind of out of my way, and I'm working 16, 17 hours today, right? I'm breaking my balls. Like, I can't just, you know, these guys got 5 pallets of beer going to it's either them or it's your one package down like some road where I don't even know if I could back up. There's a dead end on that street. I literally had to back up onto, you know, all the way down your like street of a residential reservation. There's, you know, you're not supposed to, you know, you can easily get stuck in a big ass truck, man. And I've yesterday I was stuck when I first got into a place. I fucking passed where I was supposed to go, and I didn't know. I was fucking new to the job, right? Like, fuck. Well, I'll spin around in this spot and try to make it out, and shit, I'm stuck in it. My trailer's like hanging out in a ditch. Luckily, I fucking wormed out of it. Like, I Austin powered my and then just cleared some of the snow out of the fucking tires and just kept going. Just ran through it, man, and then kept going on the way. But yeah. Man, I miss. There's actually, you know what, man? You know, we got time. I'm gonna run the clock. Go until I don't know. I think my mom doesn't get home for a while, so we'll keep going, man. There's a lot of shit I gotta talk about, man. And once we get out all that stuff that I've been going through, we gotta talk about it. Donald Trump's the fucking president, man. There's so much shit I missed, right? Like I think the last podcast I did was in June, right? Right before I was going to jail. So June, right? It's January, February, March, April, May, June. About 6 fucking months ago, I did and I remember being in jail going like, it's going to be about 3 months in jail, but it's going to be 3 months to reset all this shit, because it's 3 months of not, you know, letting your bills pile up, not doing anything. It's gotta take 3 months to get your life back. Like, so the guys, I take that as a 1-to-1, man. The guys that have been in there for 5 years, it's gonna take y'all 5 years to get, you know what I mean? You got 5 years of all that shit building up, whatever, nobody knowing you, you know, your credit in society is a big thing, right? I wouldn't say that, you know, North America, Canada, or US has a social, but when someone goes, yo, I've been in jail for 5 years, right? This is a big difference than, you know, I was like, you know, sentenced for 3 weeks, but I ended up serving like 3 months because they just couldn't, you know, all the cases. There's a big difference between that type of shit. You know what I mean? 3 months, oh, you've been in jail for 3 months. What'd you do? Like, got into a fight at a bar? Yeah, pretty much. Versus, you know, I stabbed a dude, he bled out, and I took, you know, he almost died, right? And it got 5 years or whatever. Like that type of shit, people look at it differently, right? But yeah, what else? We'll talk about regular shit, because yeah, Donald Trump's president, and it's crazy that Joe Rogan had him on the podcast, and fucking, you know, all my battery's about to fucking die, so I'll try to wrap it up. Yeah, Joe Rogan had Donald Trump on the podcast, and Tony Hinchcliffe was talking shit about Puerto Ricans, and they were getting so mad. But all that shit, I think, made it to the point where people, like, it opened people's eyes up, because I think Joe Rogan always talks about it. He's like, yeah, it's weird that, you know, when I had Donald Trump on, it was like the biggest podcast where you're getting millions of views every fucking hour, all this stuff. I don't know why it wasn't trending. It's very suspicious. It's fishy what they're doing at YouTube, because, and I go, it's not really suspicious, Joe. Whoa! Again, it's not really suspicious, man. These guys, once you're in power, you get to control shit. When you're in power, you do control shit. Now that Justin Trudeau's out of power in Canada, it's like, yo, like, there's a lot more shit that I'm seeing online and free speech. Like, people are just talking their shit again. Like, it's a lot of this shit is coming out. Like, once you control a certain aspect of the government, you can tell these social media companies that operate under your jurisdiction in your country or city or province, whatever, to just ban shit. They ban shit, right? Back in the day, it was the same thing. The newspaper's trying to write this hit piece about the guy that's fucking running shit. Well, fucking either hit them with more fucking things, tell their boss, yo, we're gonna charge, like Donald Trump shit, we're gonna charge you more tariffs for fucking around with our shit. It's how it goes, man. And when the fucking Democrats are in office, they go fucking that Republican shit. Now that Donald Trump's fucking in the White House, more and more fucking random shit you see online is like red. More of that shit leans to the red. Ah, fuck. Hold on. Let me get this shit. I'm gonna probably end it soon enough. Fuck it. Didn't even leave a message. Alright, fuck it. Yeah. But more and more fucking people coming out as like this like Republican shit. There's Republican stances are getting pushed now in the American ideology. In American, when you're looking at like people from America, social media and all that shit. So I go like, it's whoever's in office gets to kind of control the views, right? It's the American. I heard Dr. Boyce Watkins talk about it, right? American politics, democracy, it's not really a freedom of choice. It's two wolves and a fucking sheep deciding on who's, what are we eating for dinner, right? Like it's the majority of whoever can, of who votes for something gets the control of what most of the next 4 years is gonna be like for the rest of the country, right? So again, yeah, and it's funny, man. Like Donald Trump, the amount of fucking shit that he, it's crazy that as soon as he got in, Justin Trudeau was just like, "Fuck it, I'm out," and that's how linked Canada is to America. So it's like at a certain point, I see the whole joke that we should just be bought up by, we should just get. Because whatever, we're fucking America's little brother, man. Canada, we do so much shit is reliant on trade with them that the moment, like, if you get into office and you don't, the guy Trump doesn't like Trudeau or whatever it is, the guy just resigns to the point at that certain point. But it's like you could see how interlocked the old, Democrats and liberals or whatever. Conservatives, whatever the fuck Justin Trudeau is, I don't even know. That's how much I pay attention to Canadian politics, man. It's like they were connected at the hip with that whole one world fascist government that they were trying to start with Klaus Schwab's, and it's like, oh, we pulled the wool. They pulled the wool from our eyes, and we started seeing it. They took off the blindfold, metaphorically speaking, and we're like, yeah, finally. Like, I was talking about this for so long that Justin Trudeau should just fucking, someone should just not assassinate him, because now motherfucker could get, motherfucker could get a serious. I ain't trying to go back. I ain't saying assassinate him, but I go, you can easily, like, if you're that political guy, you can easily, like, Pierre Pauliette Trudeau, or Pierre Pauliette, or whatever that guy is, not Trudeau, because Pierre Pauliette, the French dude that's fucking coming up from Quebec or whatever, you could just see, like, he's like a more charismatic guy. He's like, I worked for he's one of those guys that I don't have no name attached to me. Like, maybe he has like some lower form government, but Justin Trudeau, literally, his father was the one that got into it. And when your father it's nepotism. Very rare is the son of a king or a politician, prime minister, or president. Like Donald Trump's son, I wouldn't, Don Trump Jr., he may be as smart as he is and all this, he's definitely not the fucking guy that you want running your country. Just like Justin Trudeau, the son of Pierre, a guy who legitimately came up and earned his stripes, struck when the iron is hot, so to speak, and did actual political moves, and did, some good, some bad, depending on the policies that you believe in. Justin Trudeau, there's not one thing that you could really say other than this one time when my mom said, hey, at least he's giving money out, right? I'm making money during the pandemic. I go, wait until you have to pay that back. And again, there's all the people that got that money during the pandemic, you had to pay it back. So he gave out loans, right? Loans as far as being a bank is concerned, the government shouldn't give out loans like that. Especially because it was a twisted your hand, forced to pay back. You're not getting any money anywhere because most shit's shut down. Especially if you're a non-essential worker, you're fucked, right? And that's just how I feel, man. Like the son of a prime minister shouldn't be fucking. It's very rare that they have that ability, and if you need if you need anywhere to look at Hunter Biden. That motherfucker literally needs to be in jail. Back in the day, back last year, there's a case where I could have got off and didn't need to be in jail. Hunter Biden, the shit that he's doing, he needed to be in jail, right, man? So I don't know. I think that's been the weekend show with Mediumjay. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna try to fucking get my fucking accounts back. Link this iPhone with my old phone number. Try to only pay a month. Do the pay as you go shit. And I guess if I can't unlink it, I guess I'm just anytime I need to sign back into my account after a few months, link it back up or some shit. I'm so fed up with fucking technology nowadays where it's like you don't have your phone number, if you don't have, or you forget your password, you might as well just, their suggestion is just make a new account. And it's like, out of having something for 10 years, you think you'd be able to just prove that it's you, like, hey man, like, I don't know, go through the shit that you have that you didn't post. Like on YouTube, there's some stuff where you deleted, right? Can you bring up this? Okay, there's an old video that I had, or not even that. Talk about the information, verify. I would much rather prefer a social insurance number. Fucking verify me with ID, photo ID. Put in your photo ID. Okay, that's the same person. That's the name linked to the. But none of that. That's too much of a hassle. But if a guy loses his phone number, he's fucking shit out of luck, and you might as well just you got a new phone number, start a new account. And it's like, fuck, man. All of the shit I had on my old accounts, I'll just like back, man. Hopefully, fuck. We can start dragging it out, but I think that's it for the weekend show. We're going to be doing more podcasts coming. We're going to be doing more videos, more music videos. More music's going to get released. I'm going to hopefully, do more shows. I want to get on more shows. And, man, I'll start with the podcast. I'll start talking about if I get, if I'm on the secret shows, because I'm at the bottom, right? I just got to start at the bottom. They have to go like, this is a surprise, motherfucker. Throw them out there, and I'm one of the. I'm eating shit right now, but I like it. I like being that, like, who's this guy? And then I come on the microphone and I just blow people away, watching people go, whoo, holy shit. Like the last show I did right before Christmas, everybody was like coming up to me and being like, yo, you're the best. It was like a room full of, it was like 20 artists, I'll say 20, 30 artists, maybe 40, 50 people there. Not even, maybe like 30. There's 20 artists, there's like 30 or 35 people. There's 30 artists, there's probably like 40, 50 people at the event throughout the night, and guys coming for their friends and then leaving. And, I'd got up all, like in the middle of the night when it was towards the end of the night. Got up and people were kind of like, okay, we heard enough rap. You know what I mean? Some people just show up to show off for their friends, right? Some dudes, a lot of them were artists. They'd come in, do their shows, and dip or whatever. Go to the back and just be fucking drinking all day. But when I came on the microphone, and some of the dudes were like, "Ooh, that was the best shit." I got off the stage and they're like, "Yo, that was the best performance of the night, man. You killed that shit." And that was one of those things where I'm like, I'm glad I did, because I felt like I was kind of nervous. I felt kind of like I could have done better. But that's what hip hop is, man. Like, it's just. You keep your head down, keep doing it, keep practicing, keep going at it. It's like, you gotta strike when the iron's hot, baby, man. You hit those notes, hit the beats, ride the wave. get the energy going, get motherfuckers, in a crowd, keep it going, man. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, I usually end on a joke. I'm trying to think of a joke, but I'm just kind of happy that I'm back doing the podcast. I'm back looking at myself, looking at the podcast. Fucking my iPhone looks nice, man. Got 124 gigs, Now, if only I could fucking set it up, right? If only I can set up the motherfucker. I was, I don't know, man. What should I talk about? I was watching Kill Tony. Kill Tony had Whitney Cummings on. Oh, Whitney Cummings, for an old bitch, she is so sexy, man. She's sexy. For an old chick, she's fucking sexy. And I seen her on the Hollywood Squares game show. Fuck, man. I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind just giving Whitney Cummings the old thrashing. Give her the old razzle dazzle, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm fucking saying? What the fuck going on, Whitney Cummings? Holla at your boy. Pick me, save me from Whitney Cummings. Save me from my mom's place, please. I'll be a fucking trophy husband for Whitney Cummings. She's probably got a man, and I'll get her pregnant. Give her. I think she had a kid. She looks fucking good though for a mom. Something about Whitney Cummings, and she's like And you know what? I could care less about her comedy. I don't really care about her comedy. She's funny. I know she's funny, but I want to fuck this. It's like once you start enjoying someone's comedy, you look at them at a different. I want to fuck this. She's nothing but a raw, primal sexual energy to me. And she was on Kill Tony the other day, and I remember Kill Tony's a weird show because he always prefaces it by saying, "You ready for the best fucking night of your life?" And proceeds to fucking draw hats or draw names out of a hat. Oh, I got a bucket. He draws names out of a bucket, and it's like, all right, Taylor Shannon, or come up to the stage and do 1 minute of some of the worst comedy you'll ever hear, and then we'll try to make fun of them. But if it's just bad, there's some open mics, and I've done open mics. I fucking do some open mics and try to make jokes, and some jokes land, some don't. But there's some people that are just so bad, and they don't have the timing, and they can't really talk with interest either. So they just kind of go, and then I'm done, Tony. They look over, and it's just so bad. And you're sitting there because it's, you just got hyped up with Tony just said, Tony Hinchcliffe just prefaced it. It's the greatest fucking night. You're ready for the best fucking night of your life. And then some guy comes up and he's like, the other day I was sucking dick. I'm not gay or anything, but I was just sucking dick. And anyways, ain't that right, Tony? That's my minute. And then you just go, oof. Like, what is that? Like, it's tough for me to do it. Like, just to make fun of it. Because it's like, you want to fucking laugh. You want to have a good time. In most podcasts, you're watching for the entertainment value. And I don't know, man. It's like one of those things where, like, if I want to start, I'm going to start just pretending to be this is the greatest. This is honestly the greatest podcast in history. It's the greatest podcast in history, baby. You know what the fuck going on. And then just immediately go into like, yeah, so I'm really angry about the fact that my passwords always align. Like I can't log into my accounts. It's the greatest fucking podcast in history, baby. You know the fuck going on. Anyways, I'm having difficulty with my authenticating my phone number because I don't have my old phone. So if anyone from Google or Microsoft can help me somehow revert. It's the greatest fucking podcast in history, babe. It's the greatest podcast ever, man. Anyways, I'm having difficulty logging into my Gmail account.